All right, good morning again. My name is Wes, and this is Drive Standard. Oh man, so I'm finally feeling better from the last episode. I think this makes it episode 5, I believe. Um, yeah, finally getting over that nasty cold I had. Still a little bit of congestion going on up in my face, but getting better. So that's the positive point here. Um, nothing really crazy to point out or talk about today, really. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is kind of a crappy thing. So it's computer related, of course. Let's see, yeah, we can turn on red here. So anyway, long story short, like for work, we provide our own computers there so that we can, have the computer that best helps us do our job. Okay, fine. But problem is you really can't kind of choose what you want, because we have one piece of software that we rely heavily on that is, of course, only for OS X. So that means you're nailed down to a Mac. And while not the end of the world, it's kind of starting to suck, at least for me right now, just because, let me see. So my current machine is a 2011 13-inch MacBook Pro, and of course I use that Pro term very loosely because there's nothing Pro about it. The only way I was able to make that machine useful was by adding my own solid-state drive and kicking the RAM up to like 16 gigs on my own. Problem is, I'm starting to run into a lot of I guess, bottlenecks now, I guess you could say. So the software that we use all the time is called Sketch. It's a really powerful program for like user interface design and application design and stuff like that. So it's basically like a way better alternative to Photoshop or Illustrator in that regard. Now, don't get me wrong, Photoshop and Illustrator both have their absolute strengths as far as, Photoshop for editing photos and Illustrator for building illustrations and icons and graphics of that kind. Sketch can kind of do that to an extent, but I'm so much more familiar with how Illustrator works and everything that it's way easier and quicker there. But as far as like interface design and things like that, Sketch is basically king now. I know Adobe is working on another piece of software, the name escapes me right now, that does something very similar, but it's got a long way to catch up to Sketch. But the people who make Sketch are like so full of themselves that they are just flat out never going to make a Windows version, which in my mind is a huge mistake, because like you're alienating such a large group of people, from buying your software and using it. So whatever, they're not going to make it for Windows or Linux or anything. So that really sucks. So that really limits my options as far as what I'm going to get for my next computer, because so the Pro, used loosely, MacBook that I have is of course only a dual core, because Apple thinks that dual cores are perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, they do make some quad cores, but forget being able to afford that. So it's a dual core i5 2 point something, but it's really starting to show its age. I don't know if I just need to like wipe it and reinstall the OS, but I feel like just my normal day-to-day usage anymore is actually starting to cause it to bog down quite a bit. Like, I've never experienced so many beach balls in Sketch before, because Sketch is constantly being updated and everything, and I guess it's getting more and more complicated and advanced and stuff like that. So I really think I'm getting CPU bottlenecked at this point. Graphics I already know are terrible on the thing because it's that integrated Intel like 3000 or whatever. It's horrible. So I started looking around. I'm like, I'm probably just gonna have to bite the bullet and get something else. I'm gonna have to get another Mac, and there's no way in hell that I'm buying a brand new one, because forget that. So I have to go, obviously, like MacBook Pro level, because it's my job to do a lot of graphic intensive work. So I got to go MacBook Pro level. And after having used this 13-inch for like 2 years now, and obviously at work I hook it up to a monitor, but 13-inch screens are so tiny. I don't know why 15s are the largest they still make. Like when Apple made the 17-inch, like that was my dream machine. I never got one, but I did have the first MacBook Pro, the 2006 MacBook Pro, when that came out, and like back then, like that thing was amazing. It was such a good machine until until the X1600 AMD video card, they use such cheap solder on it, that all like heated up way too much, because Apple doesn't care about thermals, and it basically it'll run for like 10 minutes, and then if you like open a browser, it just dies because the video is just completely fried. That and the battery exploded. Yeah, it's not unique to Samsung. So anyway, yeah, so I'm starting to look around at like some pre-owned MacBook Pros, and in the 15-inch, because I just can't deal with 13-inch screens anymore. It's too small to fit any kind of useful work on it. So I'm looking at 15-inch ones again, probably like 2012, 2013, I think like Retina MacBook Pros, but freaking $1,500 for these things with like video cards. They're like 5 generations old, like NVIDIA like 650s. Like, are you serious? I don't know. But the reason I'm looking at them is because they do actually have real quad-core i7s in them. And, that hopefully would keep me for the next couple of years without getting too bottlenecked anymore, because running off like the dual-core, like I said now, is just... I beach ball so much. Because, you got to consider, like, my day-to-day workflow is, like, I'm in Sketch, working on, layouts and different designs for things like that, and then I'm in and out of Photoshop, I'm in and out of InDesign, I'm in and out of Illustrator, and then, of course, all the other stuff that runs constantly, Google Drive is running, Dropbox is running, Time Machine is running, what else is going on in there? We've got, we use Slack for... communication, so that's always running. Skype is up, if I didn't just say that. And of course Skype is, man, that thing, every time you quit it, it always locks up. There's definitely like something wrong with it, because every single person I know who has Skype on a Mac, if you've made a call during the day and then you go to quit it at the end of the day, it completely locks up and beach balls. It's the weirdest thing. So, I know this has been a bit ranty, but I don't know. It's just, I experienced none of this on my PC ever. Like, it's just hilarious. So I'm a little just sad that I'm gonna have to spend like another $1,400, $1,500 on a computer that is kind of mediocre at best. Because I just hate it. Because like I just can think to like what I could build with $1,500. You're talking almost Mac Pro, like, yeah, obviously there's some limitations there, but like productivity-wise, I could make an absolute monster of a PC for $1,500. So yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen. Probably sometime this summer. I'm going to look into replacing my machine and just see how it goes. But at this rate, yeah, I don't know how much longer this 2011 little 13-inch MacBook Pro thing is going to work out, but I guess the one positive point is that if I were to get a 15-inch, I could at least plug in, I think, 2 monitors to it. Does it support 2 screens, I think? Because it has 2 mini display ports and an HDMI port, so I think you can do that. There should be enough graphics power there to do that. I was able to do a lot on my old, because like I had a GTX 650 in my PC long ago. Yeah, I know that's comparing a desktop card to a mobile card, but I had one of those in my PC at home for the longest time, and it was a great little card, but obviously outdated and severely underperforms compared to new stuff today. So yeah, so that's that's kind of the ranty bit that I wanted to go on today. Is just the expense of just having a quad core CPU is crazy. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'll report back later, I guess. But yeah. So all right. So I haven't gotten to do another thing that I mentioned last time. I had said about possibly throwing up maybe some like gameplay video of like, you know, driving type games and stuff like that. So I haven't gotten around to doing any recording or anything like that. But my wife had bought me, what was it, American Truck Simulator a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, oh, maybe I should play that one. So yeah, I have played it, you know, obviously without recording it for a couple of hours. It's been pretty cool. I played Euro Truck Simulator for a while too, but yeah, American Truck Simulator is pretty fun. Not completely different, but definitely a different experience. So it's a lot of fun. So maybe I'll grab some footage of that at some point and upload that as a quick little episode just to show it off or whatever. So, all right, cool. But yeah, anyway, so thanks for hearing me out on that. Yeah, let me know what you think about any of that kind of stuff as far as like, you know, price to performance and things like that. I mean, I know it's like the argument as old as time, you know, being an old Apple fanboy back in the day and now not so much. Yeah, it's just crazy, but yeah. But having to provide your own computer is, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's good and bad, because now it's like it's bad because you're going to have to buy another one, but good in that, like, I mean, it is your machine, so it's kind of, you can do whatever you want, your responsibility for it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so let me know if, you know, if anyone else has watched it all the way through to this point. Let me know what you think. Yeah, and until next time, I'm Wes, this is Drive Standard, and I'll see you later.